So I figured I would jump on board and get on board with the series of 10 things I hate about and mine happens to be a Gsxr. So I am guessing, and I've seen quite a few of these 10 things I hate about my whatever. And some people talk more about the bike itself and its mechanical workings, and then I've seen a few where they're nitpicking scratches. I'm guessing that the original theory behind this wasn't to nitpick a scratch, I'm guessing. But I don't have 10 things I hate about my bike. I honestly don't. So I guess I will slightly nitpick, and we will start with the nitpicks as far as, I guess, cosmetics go, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So I guess first and foremost, number one, is I have this little scratch here. It's not really a scratch. Can I focus that? So on my way down to Ohio/West Virginia, my bike was in a trailer with some cardboard boxes and some other shit. One of the cardboard boxes wiggled itself free, and when it wiggled itself free, it got up by my bike, and for a couple hundred miles, rubbed and created that little scratch. So I hate my scratch. However, I don't think that's the main point of this series. I'm one of those people who, yep, it's winter here, it's like 15 degrees outside, everything's covered in snow, so best way to make a video, I guess, is in your garage. Alright, so we can call that number one, because like I said, I don't have 10 real things I hate about my bike. My bike's been pretty damn nice to me, and I like it. I mean, I do. Anyways, okay, so I guess number two, since we're talking nitpicky fucking cosmetic bitches, is the bike is mostly like blacked out. They even blacked out the frame. Then you have all these white bolts everywhere. I don't like the white bolts everywhere. I kind of wish that they would have, I don't know, gotten some black anodized ones or fucking powder coated or something. And don't get me wrong, I know that, you know, at some point if the bolts have to be undone, some of that's going to get rubbed off a little bit. And, I don't know, I still think they'd look way better all blacked out. You know, like we got that one there, and that one there, and this one here, and that one there. You know, these guys here, that one there. You know, I'd like to see those all blacked out. I wouldn't mind if the pegs were blacked out as well. I mean, what's this? So we black this shit out, and then we leave that silver. Why? You know, same thing on the other side. There's a lot of white, or I can't really say white, silver bolts in my blacked out frame. Silver. And I would really like to see these being black instead of silver. So I'll insert a picture here. Back when I got my bike, that was a complaint of mine, was the exhaust. I mean, obviously you have the sound, but also the exhaust was silver. So insert picture here. And well, I solved that problem by purchasing a carbon fiber exhaust. So now it's blacked out instead of being silver. So I guess that's bitch number 2 and 3. So 1 is the little ding from a cardboard box. 2 would be how everything's blacked out except for all these damn bolts. And pegs and shit. And so then 3, we have the exhaust, except I fixed number 3, so that's no longer an issue. Back to more cosmetic bullshit. So I guess we call this number 4, the headlight. It's ugly, don't get me wrong. But a good, what? I don't know, 85% of the time when I'm looking at my bike, I'm not looking at the fucking front, so that's cool. Not a problem there. It works great. It's totally functional. I can see quite well. The brights are fucking bright as shit. So I guess the only thing I would like to see really changed about that, I mean, they could change the design if they wanted to, but I'm not going to bitch about it because I'm not looking at it when I'm riding it. And like right now, I'm not looking at it either. I'm looking at the side of the bike. It would be great though if the headlights like had some kind of accelerometer, and so when you're turning and it's dark out, the light turns a little bit too, because I feel like when you start getting leaned over in a turn in the dark, the headlight's pointing straight, the road is turning, so basically you're just fucking hoping and praying to all God that the road's where it's supposed to be and that there's nothing in it, because into the turn is pitch blackness and the headlight goes straight. But I think that's pretty much any bike, not just this one. However, you know, if they could add something in there to where the headlight kind of points directional to where the bike is actually going, that might make night rides a little bit more fun. And yeah. So anyhow, so that was what, number 4 or number 5? So we got the little ding from the cardboard box, we got the blacked out bolts, we got the exhaust. So number 4 is the headlight. Okay, yeah, I think that's about it for even my cosmetic bitches. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the bike. Tail lights and everything already came integrated, so I didn't have to do anything there, so that's great. I guess technically the exhaust is no longer a bitch because it's been replaced. So, okay, yeah, we're not going to make it to 10, guys, because I really don't have 10 things that I hate about my bike. So, alright, next thing, I didn't like the stock handlebars, so those have been replaced. Let's see if I can get a Apex. I'm using the Apex bars. Manufactured, I think it's Michigan, my home state, so happy to support a local company, and the parts fucking rock and kick ass, so no complaints there. So yeah, I didn't like my bars, however, I fixed that, so that's no longer an issue. So that's what, number 5? Number 6, okay, the clutch pull was a little hard for me. And this one really gets into a genuine fucking bitch about the bike. The clutch pull, not that it was really too hard, I mean, I could pull it, but I would pay for it later on that night / the next day. I have some nerve issues, and in between arm pump and pain and numbness, it would keep me up all night long, to the point where it really wasn't even worth riding the bike, because I knew I wasn't going to sleep if I went riding. So I did change out my clutch lever to an easy pull lever. However, let's get into my real bitch about this clutch. Suzuki did not make it easy to fucking just swap out a goddamn clutch on this bike. So I think most of you guys are familiar with the fact that on a Gsxr, you have to pull in the clutch to start the bike. However, on the Gsxrs, and I think there's a couple of other bikes that are very similar, I believe he said he found a very similar switch on his FZ, although he's not 100% sure if it works exactly the same way as mine. So yes, you have to pull in the clutch to start the bike. That's great and all. Originally, we tried to just bypass it with a constant, so it would, like a constant signal, thinking that it was always pulled in. And it took us a while to figure this out. I finally figured it out. I kept going through some forums. So right after we changed the clutch, my bike kept going into the FI light kept coming on. And FI is basically the fuel injection, which is, it's equivalent to the check engine light coming on in your car. So shortly after the clutch change, I started throwing FI lights, and the bike would stall out leaned over in the middle of a turn. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Originally I thought maybe there was something wrong with the bike. But I kept going back to everything with the bike was absolutely fine until I changed the clutch. There's got to be something with the fucking clutch. And, you know, everybody's telling me clutches are simple. There can't be anything wrong with the clutch. It's a pretty fucking cut and dry process. But I continued to fucking dig into Suzuki's clutches. And what I found out is that in the Suzuki clutch, inside of the perch, like in the standard clutch, I wish I knew where it was right now, I'd show you guys. But basically right in here, in the Suzuki clutch, in the perch, there's a little switch. So every time the clutch is out, it's depressing the switch, and every time you pull it in, the little button comes out, and it signifies different modes. And that's why with them that you have to pull in the clutch, because it's undoing the little button thingy. However, with Suzuki, that little button is not just to start the bike. For some reason, and I'm assuming Suzuki has an actual reason, I wish I knew the fucking reason, I'd hope it's a damn good motherfucking reason. Every single time you pull on this clutch, with the Suzuki lever and the Suzuki perch, the little button here, right, it pops out, and it actually runs a whole separate fuel map. It's a dump down fuel map. So literally each time you pull this in, it would be dump fuel map, full fuel map, dump fuel map, full fuel map. So when we permanently bypassed the button system here and just left it as a constant connection, the bike was running 100% of the time in the dump down fuel map. So I've also noticed this, once the bike is nice and warm, like optimal running temp. It can't just be a little warm. It's got to be warm. But once it's warm and it's optimal riding temp, you can go through it, pull on your clutch, listen to all the gears, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the gears sound a certain way. And when you pop it into neutral, you can hear the engine change sounds. It's the same fucking thing. Like when you pop the bike in neutral, you're running on a dump down fuel map, and when you take it out of neutral and put it into any of the gears, you're running in a full fuel map. So without having an actual switch, right, it's not just about starting the bike, it also becomes about dump down fuel maps and then your normal fuel map. And with the dump down fuel map, it was basically throwing a check engine code and stalling out in the middle of a corner. I'd really like to know the reasoning behind why they did this shit. So, to bypass that so I can use any clutch I wanted to, instead of being very limited to the clutches in which that I was allowed to select due to this fucking button issue, I have this little switch here. Red is to start the bike with the dump down fuel map, so red means you have your clutch pulled in, and then once I'm up and riding and the bike's been started, we flip it into yellow, which is the full fuel map. So no, I'm still not getting, every time I pull the clutch in, I'm not getting the dump fuel map. But I'm running 100% in the higher fuel map, which solves the throwing the check engine light, basically. So, I mean, yeah, clutches, to me, I'm just a girl, what the fuck do I know? Shouldn't be this fucking hard to goddamn change and fucking figure out and dick with. So yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. If the bike don't start, check the little fucking switch. That's all I can really say there. So yeah, start the bike, ride the bike. You guys suck for making it this way. So that is, I guess, my first legitimate real fucking bitch. And that was what, bitch total number 6? Is their stupid fucking clutch mechanism and their fucking button and their dump down fuel map just to make shit a fucking pain in my ass. Or everybody's pain in the ass, I guess. Anyhow, okay, so, and I think this is the last one. So like I said, I really don't have any fucking bitches. So what, this would make for total bitch number 7. Legitimate bitch number 2. The kickstand. It's fucking finicky. It's a finicky little fucking, ooh, I don't even know how to put it. So you have to be really careful where you park this bike because of the kickstand. I don't really know how to explain it well here. But if the ground on the kickstand side is slightly higher than the ground in which the tires are sitting on, the bike will look like it is sitting on the kickstand, but it won't actually be on the kickstand. I mean, it will be, but the weight of the bike isn't, and you could basically fucking blow on it and it would fall over the other way. I have had a close call with that kickstand. So when I went out to the tail of the dragon, and everything around there is like a hill. And so I parked my bike. We were stopping to check out some scenery. And I go to get off my bike. I put my kickstand down, and as I'm swinging my other leg, I mean, I tried to make sure it was on the kickstand. Typically when I put my kickstand down, I even give the bike a little push in that direction to make sure that the kickstand is weighted by the bike. It'll look like it's on the stand, but the weight won't actually be on it, and the slightest anything will push it over. So anyways, I put my kickstand down, and I was swinging my leg over, and as I was swinging my leg over with that weight change when I was getting off the bike, I watched the kickstand come up off the fucking ground, I start going, oh motherfucking shit. And then I watched it come back to the ground, but as soon as that kickstand hit the ground, it went and just fucking flew up and went into, yeah. So I very, very quickly went to go catch it. I caught it with my fucking knees, left some pretty goddamn good bruises, but at least my bike did not see the pavement. I have even gotten into little tiffs. He finally believes me now. Little tiffs with the boyfriend about this kickstand. He's telling me, no, kickstands are not that finicky, but there was a situation where I refused to get off my bike, and he thought I was just being a baby, and he realized what I was talking about and why I refused to get off the bike. Even though it looked like it was on the kickstand, it was not actually any weight on the kickstand at all whatsoever. Also, this kickstand goes up really easy. I don't think it should be terribly stiff, but I'm not so sure it should go up quite as easily as it does. You really got to make sure that it's down and that the bike's weight is on it and leaning in that direction, or I'm not joking, it's like you could blow on it and it would want to tip over on the other side. So I don't know how they would fix that. Yeah, I really just don't know. I didn't have any kind of problems like that with my Ninja. Not even a little fucking bit. Or any of the other bikes that I've ridden. It's just this one. So I'm a lot more careful about where I park my bike, how I park my bike, and making sure that it is fully weighted on the kickstand before I get off. So I guess lesson learned. Other than that, I really don't have any bitches about my bike. Right, I didn't like the bars, but I changed them. I didn't like the clutch, although I'm still pissed about this clutch switch issue. Other than that, I'm perfectly happy with it, dude. I can't complain about shit. So I have, what, 2 legitimate mechanical issues with the bike, and everything else it was changeable and has been changed, which, what, was the bars and the exhaust. I hope to one day black out all these bolts, but probably not any day anytime soon.